Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Moderator for the conference call. Welcome to Q1 FY22 earnings conference call of Dilip Bilkon, hosted by Axis Capital. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and then zero on your touchtone telephone. Please note that this conference is recorded. I would now like to hand over the floor to Mr. Jiten Rushi. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Momita. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Axis Capital, I would welcome everyone for the earnings conference call for the first quarter fiscal 22 of Dilip Bilkon. From the management, we have with us Mr. Devendra Jain, Executive Director and CEO, Mr. Rohan Suryavanshi, Head of Strategy and Planning, and Mr. Radheshyam Garg, Chief Financial Officer, and the investigation partners from Accenture. We thank the management for giving us this opportunity. I would like to hand over the call to Mr. Rohan Suryavanshi for his opening remarks, followed by question and answer session. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jitenji. Good evening to all. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you are doing well and staying safe in these times. I also understand it's a Saturday and a long weekend, so I appreciate all of you who took out time to attend this. I also, along with the whole DBL family, would like to welcome all our investors and partners to this conference call for the quarter ending 30th June 2021. It is my great pleasure, as always, and honor to be able to host this call and to update all our partners of the important milestones we achieved in this quarter and our plans for the year going forward. Let me first start with how the quarter panned out. Obviously, all of us were caught unaware with the second wave of COVID. In terms of cases and mortality, the second wave was far more severe than the first wave, and which put additional pressure on the healthcare system and eventually resulted in lockdowns. I don't think so there was any family this time which did not see the impact of COVID. All of us experienced it very close. The number of deaths has been unimaginable and unprecedented. Even the pickup that the economy had seen in the second half of FY21 slowed down once again in this quarter. While there were no national lockdowns, there were regional lockdowns to allow the businesses to continue with some degree and to keep the economy afloat. But even within those lockdowns, there were a lot of challenges for all businesses, especially the smaller businesses. The loss of life that this COVID caused, a lot of disruption obviously for businesses to function normally. Even at DBL, we lost a few of our colleagues. And it's not just the loss of human life, but it is also, the fact that a lot of these colleagues were very young, that it caused a debilitating effect on employee morale, and which led to 25 to 30% of our employees going back to their homes in the second wave. Obviously, this impacted operations, as one may imagine. However, we were on top of things, and we tried to get all our employees back. As of now, employees are back, but obviously we are now in the middle of monsoons, so that has its own effect. Also, while the second wave seems to have subsided right now, but fears about a future wave persist. However, we feel that the economic impacts will be much more limited and minimal now that vaccination programs are fully operational and are being pushed out very aggressively by the government. Well, under all these extraordinary circumstances, we've advanced our path of sustainable growth on the back of a positive change in culture, more significant purposes in our employees, and a strong focus on our performance, trying to make sure that whatever we can do in this situation we try and do and deliver. Our purpose has helped us stay strong despite all the challenges in this current environment. While we are far away from ideal, but I think in these times, ensuring that the people who work with us are motivated and working hard and ensuring whatever is best within their capability was the first and foremost thing, along with ensuring the safety of their families and themselves. Moving on, let me talk about the industry overview. Due to COVID-19, obviously awarding activity remained low in quarter one, especially in April and May, and that's usually the case after a quarter four, but COVID obviously impacted it. But having said that, NHAI's pipeline is supposed to be very robust this year. Every commentary that they have given was indicated that they want to award about 2 lakh crores plus of orders. So we expect the awarding activity will continue picking up, and again will follow a similar trend where a bulk of our orders come in the second half of the financial year. In terms of road construction, April and May road construction averaged to 25 kilometers a day, up from 14 kilometers a day from the previous year. From April to June, the highway construction was about 2824 kilometer, which is up 24% compared to last year. Morth has constructed 1470 kilometers of national highways in April and May. So overall, it's better than in the industry than it had happened last year. This is also because a lot of orders which are awarded were coming online. So I think that also helped the order book, the construction pace to go in that line. Regarding the company's performance, like I mentioned, our first priority was to carefully navigate the COVID situation and the problems that it brought, and to ensure that our employees are safe and secure, ensuring that also work happens, keeping in mind all the protocols that needed to be followed. Like I mentioned, the ordering of new projects was hindered by thin attendance in government offices, but we are now expecting the ordering, like I said, to go forward. We also had an incident at one of our sites, which caused temporary suspension from bidding for the company, and we would explain that more in detail over the Q&A, and I'll request our CEO to explain more about that. Besides that, let me hand over to our CFO, Mr. Garg, to give you an update on the important financial milestones of this year. I hand it over to him.
Good evening, everyone. I welcome all our partners to our quarter call. Let me start by saying that this was an exceptional quarter with very unpredictable lockdowns and early as well as high rainfalls, mainly in few of our project areas. But even in that tough backdrop, company has performed exceptionally well and not allowed revenue to fall substantially. This has been possible because of our model of complete ownership. With this caveat, let me present the results for the quarter Q1 FY22. Our revenue increased by 14% on YOY basis amid COVID challenges and cycles. EBITDA decreased by about 4% in Q1, mainly due to decrease in revenue, as we have planned revenue in the range of 2,900 to 3,000 for this quarter. As you know, similar the quarter four and quarter one generally have similar top line. We expected about 2,900 crore to 3,000 crore revenue in this quarter. Against that, we could do only 2,100 crore. This resulted in under recovery of our fixed overheads. The time extension in projects on account of COVID, we also incurred additional fixed cost, manpower, rent, etc. during extended period of time. There is no bonus which was earned during the quarter, and no further bonus will be recognized during the remaining period of financial year. Also, increase in material price like cement, bitumen, diesel, steel, aggregates also impacted the EBITDA margin. Increased price of these material was to an extent of 50 to 60%. Part of it, 50 to 60% of it could be passed through the escalation clause. Remaining has to be absorbed in our EBITDA margin. Profit after tax decreased by about 32%, mainly because of decreased EBITDA and increased amount of tax. Now, let me take you through some important items of the standalone balance sheet. Inventory has increased by about 260 crores. In absolute term, this increase is mainly attributable to the material price increase, and inventories quantity-wise remain at the same level as of March 21 in terms of all these material. Increase in loans given and investment is mainly on account of investment in SPVs for HAM projects. Net debt equity ratio decreased to 0.76 in Q1 compared to 0.79 in Q4 of 21. However, there is increase in debt in absolute number on account of increase in working capital. Increase in non-current liabilities on account of increase in a non-current portion of mobilization advance. Increase in other financial liabilities on account of increase in current maturities of long-term borrowings. Increase in other current liabilities is on account of increase in current portion of mobilization advance. Now, I will take you through some other financial numbers. The cash generated from operation activity is negative to an extent of about 525 crores as compared to negative of about 200 crore in Q1 last year. This is mainly because of reduction in PAT and also increase in working capital. However, working capital days has increased to 100 days as of 30th June 21 from 82 days as on 31st March 2021. Now, we can open the floor for question and answer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. If you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad and wait for your turn to ask the question. If you would like to withdraw your request, you may do so by pressing star and 1 again. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So our first question from Mr. Shravan Shah from Dolat Capital Market Private Limited. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Starting with this quarter, as you mentioned, our EBITDA margin is at a kind of a decade lowest number. Primarily, as you mentioned, the rise in the input cost and the unabsorption of fixed costs. So now, how do we see it in terms of the margin? Can we also see the same impact is going for the second quarter also and for the full year? Some breakup in terms of how much is because of the input in the material cost, cement and steel, how much is because of the extra cost that we incurred for the COVID, whatever extra explanation you can provide, that would be helpful.
So,
Pavanji, to answer your question, so the EBITDA margin guidance, what you have precisely asking for the rest of the financial year. So in the Q2, you will see the EBITDA margin profile similar to Q1, because this is again that this quarter is impacted by the rain, and that we will see in the full quarter the EBITDA margin will be in the range of 15.5. So it will be in that range. As far as EBITDA margin is concerned, this will be the number. And or as rightly you have also noticed that our EBITDA margin has decreased by around 2.5%. It is generally in the range of 16%. So what is the reason? Is the one is the mentioned by the increase in material prices, and second is the under recovery of fixed overhead. So 2.5% put together is the margin is impacted by these things put together. It is slightly difficult to bifurcate these numbers into these two categories. Okay, so this is the reason. And also we are not going to earn any bonus. We have not earned any bonus in this quarter, and we are also not going to earn any bonus in the remaining quarter, because the whole project goes the extension of time due to the COVID-19. So it has impacted our margin to that extent also, because if you will see in the earlier quarter, in the earlier years, we were earning the margin of in the range of 17 to 18%. Our margin to that extent of 1.5 to 2% is impacted by this also. So
yeah. Second is, sir, on the gross debt front. So on QOQ front, absolute gross debt has increased by 298 crore. This is in the two contexts. First, we have raised 500 crore post reducing the 9 crore expenses for the expenses. So we raised 500 crore equity in April, and despite that, our gross debt has increased, and we were expecting the gross debt to decline by 500 odd crore. So where, and even I am not able to see the increase in the cash of balance also. So where the money has gone?
Yeah. So you have rightly pointed out. So 500 crore from the QIP and 300 crore approximately the debt increase is there. So approximately 800 crore cash generated from these two heads. So where the utilization has been met. So your answer to your question precisely is that we have made the investment in our HEM project to the extent of the 200 crores, approximately 200 crores. The second utilization is that there is an increase in the inventory approximately by 280 crore. The inventory has increased. If you are aware that in the absolute terms, in the quantity, remains the same, but due to the increase in the material prices, moving average prices of the material has gone up, like cement, steel, and bitumen, and then aggregate. So it has impacted the inventory, and we have to incur the extra cost for the inventory holding. Then there is because it goes by the FIFO method, so that is why there is an increase in the weighted average price. Now there is also increase in the debtors by around 170 to 180 crore. So this increase in debtor is mainly there was not much delay, but 4-5 days delay. That is why this is appearing here. And there is also decrease in the creditors by around 100 crore. So this put together, and there is another one aspect in the other current assets, there is an increase. So which is mainly on account of unutilized GST input credit to the extent of 120 crore. So this put together is the impacting our QIP utilization, and the second thing, it is the increasing the debt number. Put together around 800 crore rupees. So I think I explained your question.
So for the full year, previously the last quarter we were expecting 500 crore decline by end of FY22. So now what is the stand?
So answer to your question, there will be decrease of around 800 crore from the level of the June number minimum, and the 500 crore from the March level number. So there will be decrease, of course, at the year end.
Okay. Second, two questions, particularly first is the acquisition of DBL Infra assets for 2 crore. Not able to understand what's the purpose and why we paid to the promoters 2 crore to acquire, and what's the benefit and what's the logic. I'm not able to understand.
Pavanji, first of all, this was the group company within the group itself held by the promoters, and company already had a cash balance of 2 crores. So that is the reason it has been acquired for a consideration of 2 crores, which is equivalent to the cash balance which was there in the company. And the reason why we have acquired this is that like we are doing so many HAM projects, and going forward, because today the entire investment in our projects is sitting in the books of DBL. And going forward, we are trying to create an investment vehicle through which we would be channelizing our investments, because as you know, we are also churning our investments periodically. So what would happen is that this investment vehicle is going to see a growth in the times to come, because it will also receive the sale consideration, and also fresh equity investments would be made out of this particular vehicle. So for that limited purpose only, this acquisition was done.
Sorry, still. So previously DBL was owning anything in this DBL Infra assets?
No. It was not owning anything. It was owned completely by our promoters, and 2 crores, as I said, 2 crores was lying in this particular company. So in lieu of that, DBL has purchased this company.
So, but we could have gone and we could have created a new company. Don't you think that would have lesser cost and would be a better per se? So if it's a to be.
There is no costing involved. Please understand, jitna cash hai, for a similar cash consideration, it has been purchased. So there is no costing involved for the company as such.
No, costing I understand. So to be put it simple way, so today if I have a 1 crore, will you pay me 1 crore and take my company? But it should have some interest that DBL should be having. So that's what I am not able to understand.
Now it has become 100%, and future investments we will be channelizing from this company. So whatever cash DBL has invested to acquire this, that will ultimately get utilized for meeting the future investments.
Okay. So last question is on the girder fall. So there are 2 aspects. First, I understand whatever the negligence was there. Definitely we would have taken steps that this incident will not happen again. So there are 2 things. First is the NHAI has writing given a ban on 12th July, but we have informed to the exchanges on the 14th July evening. Why so much delay? 2 days delay. First question. Second, we were expecting the outcome to come, and we would be now would be out of ban in 2 to 3 weeks. So already 1 month has passed. Today is the 14th August. So what is the status now? So are we not still in the ban period? We are not able to bid, and when the ban will be removing?
श्रवण जी, एक तो हम लोगों ने एक्सचेंज में इन्फॉर्म उसी टाइम कर दिया था जब वो लेटर हमें फिजिकली मिला था, तो हमारी तरफ से वो कोई डिले नहीं है. ये कुछ आपको 2 दिन पहले NHAI ने डिस्पैच किया होगा, लेकिन वी गॉट द लेटर ऑन सेम डे और उसी दिन हम लोगों ने एक्सचेंज में इन्फॉर्म किया. इसके अलावा बाकी जो इसकी प्रक्रिया है मैं आपको समझा देता हूँ. गर्डर गिरने के बाद NHAI का एक वहाँ पे स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसेस है जिसमें दे हैव ए कमेटी ऑफ 6 मेंबर्स. उसमें से कोई भी 3 कमेटी मेंबर चूज करके वो लोग जाते हैं, उसका पूरा रिपोर्ट तैयार करते हैं कि गर्डर फॉल होने के क्या कारण है. 3 एस्पेक्ट्स होते हैं उसकी रिपोर्ट के. 1 इज द डिजाइन एस्पेक्ट, सेकंड इज द कंस्ट्रक्शन एस्पेक्ट, एंड थर्ड इज द मेथोडोलॉजी अडॉप्टेड इन द गर्डर लॉन्चिंग. तो ये तीनों एस्पेक्ट पे कमेटी का रिपोर्ट आ चुका है आज की तारीख में. इनमें से डिजाइन इज ओके, क्वालिटी इज ओके, देयर इज सम नेग्लिजेंस इन द ब्लॉक प्लेसिंग. जब भी हम कोई गर्डर लॉन्च करते हैं तो नीचे वुडन ब्लॉक लगाया जाता है. वुडन ब्लॉक के ऊपर प्राइमरीली गर्डर को लॉन्च करते हैं. उसकी सब्सिक्वेंट एक्टिविटी होती है उसकी क्रॉस गर्डर, जो कंटिन्यूअसली बारिश के कारण वहाँ पे वो गर्डर क्रॉस गर्डर बन नहीं पाया. वुडन में इनहेरेंट कोई वीकनेस था तो वो गिरने के कारण गर्डर टॉपल हुई और नीचे आके गिरी. वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसके नीचे से एक कार गुजर रही थी, उसके ऊपर वो जाके गिरी और फेटल एक्सीडेंट हुआ. इवन हम लोगों ने वहाँ के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से प्रॉपर ब्लॉकेज भी लिया था उस जगह के रोड का जब हमें गर्डर लॉन्च करना था, लेकिन ड्यू टू द वेरी मच ट्रैफिक डेंसिटी वहाँ पे कंटिन्यूअसली व्हीकल चलते रहे. पुलिस ने फोर्सफुली वहाँ से ट्रैफिक को अलाउ किया और एक ही अनफॉर्चुनेट एक्सीडेंट हुआ. आज की तारीख में अगर देखेंगे तो DBL के पर्सपेक्टिव से मैं आपको बताऊं कि वी हैव डन मोर देन 25,000 गर्डर्स हम लोग आज तक लॉन्च कर चुके हैं. और ये किसी भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए किसी भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनी के लिए गर्डर बनाना, गर्डर लॉन्च करना ये कोई बड़ा इशू नहीं होता. एवरीडे का काम है, ब्रेड एंड बटर है किसी भी कंपनी का. हम लोगों ने इवन बहुत ही क्रिटिकल एरियाज में गर्डर लॉन्च किए हैं. हम लोगों ने बेंच सर्किल विजयवाड़ा में, जो कि 24 घंटे वहाँ इतना ज़्यादा ट्रैफिक होता है, 800 गर्डर लॉन्च किए हैं. वी आर कंस्ट्रक्टिंग बेंगलोर मैसूर टाइप क्रिटिकल हाईवे जिसमें 7 किलोमीटर लॉन्ग हम लोग एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर बना रहे हैं, हम लोग वी आर कंस्ट्रक्टिंग जुआरी रिवर पे जो हम लोग केबल सस्पेंशन भी बना रहे हैं, वो बहुत क्रिटिकल है। तो इस तरह कंपनी की कोई यूजुअल प्रैक्टिस नहीं रही है। और आपका अगला क्वेश्चन जो था कि 1 महीना बीत गया है, तो NHAI की प्रक्रिया लगभग खत्म हो गई है। वी गॉट द सो कॉज नोटिस और इसका रिजल्ट 10-15 दिन में आएगा और उसके बाद मुझे लगता है अगस्त एंड तक ये जो इन्होंने बैन किया है विड्रॉ हो जाएगा।
Okay, I have more questions. I will come in queue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Chittaraman from Spark Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Hello. Thank you. Sir, my first question is, with respect to the NHAI bidding that is happening, the projects that are awarded, the number of days of construction has come down in many of the projects that we see. So how confident are you of winning this bonus going forward into the years?
अभी कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स में NHAI ने बहुत इलॉजिकली टाइमलाइन रिड्यूस कर दी है, इररेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ उसकी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी देखे बिना। जैसे अलग अलग टाइप के प्रोजेक्ट होते हैं, कुछ में स्ट्रक्चर्स बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं, कोई पर्टिकुलर एरिया होता है जहाँ रेनफॉल का टाइम ज़्यादा होता है या रेनफॉल ज़्यादा होता है। तो इररेस्पेक्टिव एनीथिंग NHAI ने एब्रप्टली कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स को 24 मंथ से घटा के 18 मंथ किया है। तो वहाँ पे हम लोग DBL लेवल पे हम लोग पर्टिकुलर ये रिव्यू करते हैं कि रियली उस टाइम पीरियड में भी ये प्रोजेक्ट हो पाएगा कि नहीं हो पाएगा, देन ही हम ओनली वहाँ बिड करते हैं। जहाँ तक बोनस की बात है, बोनस लेना तो अब नियर टू इम्पॉसिबल है, क्योंकि जिन प्रोजेक्टों के लिए पहले 2.5 साल गवर्नमेंट देती थी, वहाँ पे उसको घटा के उन्होंने 1.5 साल कर दिया। तो बोनस इज क्वाइट इम्पॉसिबल नाउ।
Okay, so going forward it is going to become more and more difficult. That's what I can infer from this.
हाँ, डिफिकल्ट इन द सेंस कि अगर प्रोजेक्ट बनाने का एक मिनिमम टाइम पीरियड होता है, उसकी एक प्रोसेस होती है। अगर आप प्रोजेक्ट को कहाँ कर रहे हो, प्रोजेक्ट किस टाइप का है, किसी में अगर 1000 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट है, किसी में 500 करोड़ के स्ट्रक्चर है, किसी में 600 करोड़ के या किसी में 200 करोड़ के, तो आप ऐसे प्राइसिंग वाइज ऐसा कहना बहुत मुश्किल है कि ये 18 महीने में बन जाएगा। उसकी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी प्लस किस एरिया में उसकी ज्योग्राफी क्या है, वो सब देखने के बाद ही यू कैन डिजाइन कि इसमें एक्चुअल में टाइम कितना लगने वाला है।
Okay. So, and my next question is, what is the bid pipeline that you foresee for the next few quarters from NHAI?
बिड पाइपलाइन तो ऑलरेडी जैसा रोहन ने अपने ओपनिंग रिमार्क में बताया कि लगभग 2 लाख करोड़ की बिड पाइपलाइन है। और जब भी लास्ट फाइनेंशियल ईयर में बहुत सारी बिडिंग Q4 में होती है, तो हमेशा Q1 और Q2 थोड़े से म्यूट हो जाते हैं बिडिंग के लिए। तो वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग कि Q3 से लेके Q4 के बीच में ये सारी बिडिंग दिखने वाली है।
Okay, this 2 lakh crore is for the next 3 quarters. That's what. Okay, and what is the equity infusion that you foresee for FY22 and 23 in HAM projects?
So the total equity infusion in such is around 700 crores. So out of which we have already invested close to 180 crores. So the balance equity contribution will take place during the financial year 22 in a phased manner, and mostly it would happen in like Q3, because a couple of the projects, 5-6 projects which were awarded to us in Q4. So we would be receiving the appointed date for them by Q3 and Q4.
So total is 700 crores for this particular year.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Rohit Natarajan from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead, sir. The question from Mr. Rohit Natarajan from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead, sir. Mr. Natarajan, we're not able to hear you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Not very
Hello?
clearly, Mr. Natarajan. Mr.
Hello,
Natarajan?
can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
So, sir, now that we are already 4 to 5 months of this fiscal, what could be the revenue guidance? Any remarks that you would have on what the execution would look like in FY22?
Around 10,000 crore to the 10,500 crore का revenue we are expecting this year.
Okay, sir. और सर सेकंड क्वेश्चन मेरा ये है कि ऑर्डर इनफ्लो इस पर सर हमारी मिक्स क्या रहेगी और क्या टाइप की इनफ्लो हम टारगेट कर रहे हैं?
हमारी ऑर्डर मिक्स अगर लास्ट ईयर का हम मिक्स देखें तो अराउंड 50% प्रोजेक्ट जो थे हमारे रोड प्रोजेक्ट पोर्टफोलियो से थे और बाकी 50% फ्रॉम आवर अदर सेक्टर लाइक माइनिंग, डैम्स एंड टनल. इस साल मोस्ट ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग फ्रॉम द रोड सेक्टर इन Q3 एंड Q4.
ओके सर. और सर ये मोनेटाइजेशन की जो बात है, हम 1000 करोड़ के मोनेटाइजेशन के प्लान जो कर रहे हैं और 1500 करोड़ फॉर FY23, उसके टाइमलाइन और उसके स्टेजेस कौन से लेवल पे हैं हम लोग अभी?
सर इसमें जस्ट आई विल क्लैरिफाई, ये जो 1000 करोड़ का है इसमें ऑलरेडी वी हैव ए डील साइंड विद क्यूब हाईवेज फॉर 5 प्रोजेक्ट्स. So that deal is going to get matured in the current financial year itself, because 3 projects we would be completed by end of the October, and the remaining 2 by end of the March. So upon completion of projects, the consideration would start kicking in. So roughly we are expecting 550 to 600 odd crores of consideration coming in from Q Highways. And apart from that, we have 7 more projects which were bidded out in 2018, and those would also be, out of those also 4 projects would be getting completed in this fiscal itself. So we have not signed any deal as yet for the remaining 4 projects, because that was a conscious call which the company took because of the steep decline in the bank rate, because that has a significant bearing upon the valuation of the assets. So the idea is that like once the projects achieve the COD, then it would be the prudent time that we do all the kinds of financial engineering, including the refinancing of the debt, to target and achieve for the fair valuation of those assets at that point of time. And also once the construction risk is over, you also try to get a better discounting rate. So towards the end of the financial year, we will see the monetization of the remaining 4 assets and the consideration coming therefrom.
Okay. And sir, finally on the, my question is, we had some 2.4 billion MAT credit available. What exactly is the situation of that MAT credit now? And when will our tax rate normalize to maybe, from the current high reported levels?
Sir, can you repeat the question, please?
The MAT credit, what is the outstanding MAT credit?
Outstanding MAT credit is 227 crore. 13 crore decrease. 13 crore has been utilized in the Q1.
Okay, and you expect this to be exhausted over next 1 year? Is that the timeline?
No, this will be...
no, more than...
This will fall over in the next year also.
Okay, sure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Vineet Bora from DAM Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Hi, this is me. Thanks for the opportunity. So my question is regarding the equity investment, the source of equity investment. So, हमारे पास cash है 300 crore का. Our debt has increased from 600 crore to 820 crore despite of QIP, and cash generated from operations is negative 500 crores. So the source of these equity investments of 700 crore for this year, is the monetization from Cube Highways a source, or how do we look at it?
Yeah, so you have rightly picked up. So out of this 700 crores, like 200 crores, as we mentioned, that has already been invested. So the remaining equity requirement is limited to 500 crores. And as I mentioned, this 500 crores is back-to-back tied up with the consideration which we are expecting from the Cube Highways. So that way the equity requirement for this fiscal year is fully tied up. So we don't have any other dependency on any other alternate source.
Okay, sure, thanks. And so next question was regarding the tax rate. So it has gone up to 44% this quarter. So even after utilization of MAT credit, our tax rate has gone high. So is there any specific reason for this?
So Vinit ji, first thing to just note down here that the MAT credit utilization doesn't pass through the P&L. First, to explain this. Second thing, that tax rate has gone up. If you will see, there is a one item of the tax for earlier year is around 3 crore rupees. So this is on account the assessment happened for one of our your income tax assessment happened for one of our years. So that is why this has gone up. Otherwise, it will be in the range of 35% to 36% only.
Okay, sure, sir. Understood. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Mohit Kumar from DAM Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good evening, sir. Congratulations on the decent set of performance given a very challenging environment. So my question is pertaining to the fact that the NHA has banned us from participating in the bid, right, for some time. I'm just trying to figure out how does it affect us? Does it mean that we'll not be eligible to participate in any bid or submission of any bid during this period? Or is it that any bid which gets opened will not qualify?
So, sir, right now, when this ban comes, obviously we are not allowed to participate in any bid. And anyways, we had not put any bids right now because we are not looking to bid at this point of time. So that situation, which you mentioned, that if we had already participated and our bid would be disqualified, will not happen, purely because we were anyways not bidding at this point of time. But had that been the case, that would be true. We would be disqualified because of this limitation and temporary ban that we have. But like Devendra explained, we expect that clear out soon. So when that happens, we will come back to the market and share that news.
Okay. So last year, so we had a lot of order win from various other sectors. While the past 5-6 months, of course, we do understand that there has been a dull in tendering and awarding activity, but there's hardly any order. So what is the reason behind very, very muted order inflow, and how do you see this order inflow panning out for the entire FY22? Is there any guidance you can provide on the order inflow?
Sure. Sir, if you look at the last 3, 4, 5 years, the same trend has followed, that quarter 3 and quarter 4 is always heavy ordering, and then quarter 1 and quarter 2 has low amount of ordering. Even if you look at our bidding winning, barring last year, it was usually tilted towards quarter 3 and quarter 4. Now, because last year we won a fair amount of orders, right now we were not looking to bid anything currently. Also, let me explain how the bidding happens on our side. Whenever we see one of our orders getting completed over, like, let's say there is a road project which is getting completed 9 months down the line, that is when we are looking at putting a bid for a new project, because it will take 3 months for that order from bidding to actual opening to happen, and after that 3 to 4 months, and after that it takes 4 to 5 months for that project to really start. In those first 4 to 6 months, you are essentially doing site preparation, getting all the clearances and all that. So our main equipment deployment also comes after 4 to 6 months. So as this project will get completed after 9 months, the second order, the new project, will start taking our equipment, and hence that cycle continues. Now, if we are not looking to invest in additional equipment right now, which is what we have mentioned earlier as well, then we do not envisage or taking additional orders, because additional orders beyond our capability right now will lead to capital expenditure that we'll have to do in equipment. Hence, there is a whole cycle that goes into play, and right now that's why we're not looking to bid anyway. So we will bid in the quarter 3 and quarter 4. You will see us bidding, but right now, as of now, we were not looking to bid. And the mix of the orders, like Devendra already explained, it will be tilted slightly in favor of roads, but to give you an exact mix would not be possible for us. Also, we would not be sharing our bidding strategy in totality with you, but we can give you some indication that we are looking at orders across the sectors that we're working in. However, roads is something that, given the large pipeline that's also coming, and already that we have enough diversity, we will look at balancing and seeing how we want to look at our order book going forward.
So lastly, given the first quarter has gone and actually gone away, is it possible to give some guidance for FY22 revenues and EBITDA margins? But do you see a very sharp correction in EBITDA margins compared to FY21, given the input inflation?
So guidance again also we gave early that we are expecting about 10 to 10,500 crores of revenue in this year, and EBITDA guidance is about 15 to 15.5 for the full final year. Obviously, for the first 2 quarters, it's going to be muted. The first quarter we've already seen it was muted because of the reasons that we already explained: underutilization, cost overrun, cost increases of raw materials, all those things that we explained. But as more and more projects and as the revenue ramps up in quarter 3 and quarter 4, and our assets are able to utilize fully, we expect the EBITDA profile to change, and hence that full year thing will go better. Also, like we mentioned earlier, that this will also eventually end of the year, we're expecting the debt profile to come down by about 800 crores from the current level.
Understood, sir. Thank you and all the best, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Manish Goyal from Enam Holdings Private Limited. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just on the divestment of road assets, would like to clarify that earlier we had targeted inflows of 2,000 crores over a period of 2 years, and the recent presentations mentioning about 2,500 crores. So just would like to know this incremental 500 crores in FY23 is coming from where?
Yeah. This guidance is coming from the very fact that recently what we have seen is that post completion what kind of value appreciation is taking place, and of late you must be aware Shrem is coming up with their own InvIT, and we have seen a huge upside in terms of the valuation also once the assets are flipped to the InvIT. And also we have been having discussion with the prospective investors in that particular line. So with regard to that only we have given that guidance. This could be the expected increase in the overall valuation of this portfolio.
Oh, okay. And you were also mentioning, I missed on that about the balance 7 HAM projects. You mentioned that 3 projects would get completed in FY22. Am I right?
So the 4 projects are getting completed in FY22 and other 3 in early FY23.
And okay. So you are saying that for these 4 projects, we will evaluate deal only after achieving the COD.
Yeah. So parallelly we are working upon the deal, and also as I mentioned, once the COD, because some couple of projects would be achieving COD in Q3 itself. So we are also working on, as I mentioned, on the various financial engineering, because today the interest rates are lowest in the market, historically lowest. So all those benefits we are trying to do by way of financial engineering to get or to maximize the value, to overcome the valuation erosion whatever has taken place because of the decline in the bank rate. So that is the opportune time which we see that we have also discussed with the prospective investors. That would be the time when we would be basically striking a deal with them.
Okay. So that already factors another 400 odd crores coming from these 4 HAM projects.
Correct.
In the current year.
Correct.
Right. And on order inflow number, is it like if you can quantify what is our expectation, a range would be helpful for the current year?
10 to 12,000 crore order inflow is planning for this year. Manish, 10,000 से 12,000 crore के order we are planning for.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll come back in the queue. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Jiten Rushi from Axis Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thanks for taking my question. Sir, my question was also on are we targeting now going forward larger ticket size project because of the competition we see in the projects of less than 1,000 crore, and looking at the size of our company, so to avoid this competition and maintain better margins, so are we looking for a project of ticket size above 1,500 or 2,000 crore? That is something which we are looking at, and we will be doing it going forward. How is the strategy for this?
जितेंद्र जी, हम हमेशा से बड़ी साइज के प्रोजेक्ट ही बिड करते आए हैं और एग्जीक्यूट भी कर रहे हैं. अगर अभी आप देखेंगे तो बेंगलोर से मैसूर हाईवे ऑल टुगेदर दोनों पैकेज मिला के दैट इज 4,000 करोड़ प्लस हाईवे. तो टिकट साइज एंड द क्वालिफिकेशन इज नेवर बी ए क्राइटेरिया फॉर द डीबीएल, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. एंड टू मिटिगेट द कंपटीशन नेचुरली हम लोग ज्यादा बड़ी साइज के प्रोजेक्ट टारगेट कर रहे हैं.
So what I can understand is we will be targeting a bigger ticket size, and the number of projects will come down going forward. That is something which we will do it consciously, right, sir? And sir, on the water pipeline project, so we see a lot of water pipeline distribution in Jal Jeevan Mission coming up now. So do we plan to participate in this project, or how are we placed?
हम अगर पिछले 4-5 सालों में आप हमारी ऑर्डर बुक देखेंगे तो हम लोगों ने काफ़ी 5-6 सेक्टर्स में डाइवर्सिफाई किया है। उसमें वाटर रिलेटेड प्रोजेक्ट भी हम लोगों ने किए हैं, हम लोग डैम कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हैं, हम लोग टनल कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हैं। तो ऑब्वियसली जो वाटर सप्लाई के प्रोजेक्ट हैं हम लोग उसमें बिड करेंगे, सब्जेक्टेड टू देखेंगे कि वहाँ पे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का फंडिंग पोजीशन क्या है और वहाँ पे वो प्रोजेक्ट किस जगह में लोकेटेड है। तो उनको रिव्यू करके अगर वो हमारे नॉर्म्स पे पूरे होते हैं तो हम लोग पक्का बिड करेंगे।
Sir, this year we don't see any non-road inflows, as you said in the opening remarks, right, sir?
This is not confirm statement. तो
Okay.
ऐसा मेरा assumption है कि ज़्यादा रोड का अगर आने वाले प्रोजेक्ट तो हम लोग रोड में ज़्यादा प्रोजेक्ट जीते।
Fine. So a few big bookkeeping numbers I want. So outstanding mobilization advance, retention money, unbilled revenue, and bank limits if possible, sir.
Yeah. So as far as mobilization advance is concerned, it is approximately 1,000 crore as on 30th June. Retention money is 750 crore, and what else you unbilled revenue is
Unbilled.
Yeah, around 500 crore.
And sir, bank limit if possible, non-fund based and utilization.
So you want the limit, so we can take it off the line.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, no problems. And so one last thing. So obviously, as you said, we are now looking at a margin of 15 to 15.5%. So something this will be followed in the coming years, or we are expecting the margin to improve from FY23 onwards, like we can see 16% plus margin again. How are you placed for this?
Sir, right now, why we have given that is because all the projects that we were doing have all gotten EOT because of COVID. Now, while the government has given COVID chilly EOT, they are not reimbursing us for any of our costs, which has caused all these things.
Okay.
Right? Along with that, they've also said they will not be giving bonus, even though you do it before time with the EOT. So now it has become, a double-edged sword for us that our timeline also increased. So our fixed cost, what was our model? Our model used to be that we would, keep our own people, our equipment, and we would do it significantly higher than, peer sets. Both our equipment and deployment was higher. And what we would do, we would complete it before time, and hence we would also get bonuses. That was our model till now. But because of this situation, where what used to be a strength for us all the time, because of this extraneous situation which was completely outside and beyond our control and nobody could have understood, because we always keep a healthy order book in hand, but to ensure that there is never a situation like that our equipment sits idle. But because of this, where we were forced to keep our people idle, our equipment idle, and we still paid them their full salary and everything, it ended up causing that loss for us in terms of our profitability, and hence we have reduced that guidance for this year because we are not expecting any more bonuses.
No,
now,
I agree, but sir,
second part,
yes, sir.
Second part, how are we expecting and anticipating future bonuses or future sort of margins? We had earlier also guided that we are looking at 16% plus kind of guidance, but all of that is also based on how material prices behave, which will leave from where we are standing right now, or if there is any other lockdown that happens. So right now, to give you a blanket number, while we have all envisaging and targeting it there, it would be very difficult to put an accurate number and say that, because it's a very fluid situation right now. We have not seen the kind of increases in raw materials that we've seen right now in many years. So this is an unprecedented increase. While we are building it into this asset, going forward, if there is any challenge, it will obviously have its own impact. But currently, this is where we see it as, and that's why we've gained. But 16% is kind of what we are also always looking and targeting without the bonus.
Bonus, yeah. So basically, revenue guidance like 15-20%, we will maintain year on year from next year. That I can understand, right, sir?
Too early to give you the year after, but at least if you're talking.
This year I got it, but I'm just, just from the overall perspective, I'm asking. No problem, sir. That's okay. So one last question on the Cube deal. I'm sorry, I'm harping on it. So, so we are saying 1,000 crore probably is the tentative valuation, and of which we are targeting to receive 550 to 600 crore this year, and balance will come next year. Right, sir? And for the 7 HAM projects, where we were anticipating a similar number, but now we have decided to revisit the valuation. So what kind of valuation now we are looking at it? Like, because as you said, 7 projects, of which 4 projects will get over in March. So probably next year, after 6 months, we can receive for the probably in FY23 we will be receiving the money for the whole portfolio of 7 projects, including the balance projects with the Cube deal. So what would be the next year number in terms of proceeds if we are targeting?
Sir, what we have given to you is our total inflow for 12 assets. These 12 assets were won in FY18. The 12 assets indicated that we will receive about 2,000 crore of consideration for those.
Perfect. Right.
Now, what we are saying is, against those 12 assets, we are expecting to receive at least 2,500 crores of consideration. So there is an increase about 400 to 500 crores of consideration, at least on all those 12 assets which we had earlier anticipated. Now, how is this happening and coming is that because earlier when we were selling it bilaterally, there would be, and under construction, there is obviously a certain margin of safety that investors. As soon as you complete the project at COD, all that goes away because you can also, do your financial engineering in terms of cost, reducing the cost of debt. Also now, since the project becomes fully functional and revenue earning, the market there is pretty set. If you look at all the InvIT REITs out there for fixed yielding assets, or even if you look at the PGCL, InvIT, the yields are very much, and the discounting rates is very much in the public domain. So what that additional value will come from is that discounting sort of reduction, compression that will happen. Because earlier investors would demand a higher yield when you're giving it during construction versus when you sell it post, your yield will be much finer. And that's how that additional value is going to come.
Right. So last question on Siarmal mine. So when can we start? Obviously, we are almost through with all the permission, I understand. So the work will start in Q3 onwards or Q4? Like how are we placed? Basic overburden.
Already we got the LOI.
Yes.
प्रोसेस है उसके लिए गवर्नमेंट ने लगभग 1.5 year का टाइम दिया है. So the process is already started. So the revenue will come in the next financial year, not in financial year. This financial year.
Okay. That's it from my side. Thanks a lot and all the best, and hope we can see improvement in coming quarters, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Definitely will see, but the improvement will come in quarter 3 and quarter 4.
Yes, sir. Coming with Q3, Q4, I meant. Thank you, sir.
We are sticking with our guidance and target that we will look at 800 crores of debt reduction.
Superb, sir. Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Prem Khurana from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question. So, to begin with, a small clarification. So, one was Siarmal, we were supposed to sign the agreement in the month of June. So, has that been signed or is it still pending?
Sir, it has been signed.
Okay. So, just, given the fact that it is already signed, the presentation, it seems as if we post our equity infusion that we're targeting for FY22 to FY23. So, does it mean you're waiting for some approvals, or which is why, it has been pushed to FY23 now, or am I missing something else?
Sir, the way all these large mines operate is before you actually start working on them, and where you have to do a whole bunch of things, which is preparation of that mine. So you have to secure a lot of clearances, all those things which happen. So all those things take a year and a half, which is what Devin Bray mentioned earlier, just right now. That, and it's mentioned in the agreement as well, that all this pre-mining activity takes that kind of time. After that only, we will, once all of that is there at the near final stage, is when we put in our equipment and start mining. So that's where the equity infusion starts coming. So hence, that equity infusion will come in next year when the projects will be at that stage. So that's where we will be procuring the equipment for that. There will be a SPV created for it, so specifically for that, and it will be done in that manner.
Sure. And so on this Cube transaction, I think you said that the valuation is likely to go up by almost around 400 and 500 odd crores, including the balance 7 assets as well. But when I look at the press release, there's this notes to accounts wherein you peg the valuation for this Cube transaction still at around 640 odd crore rupees. So that, so if it still is as if eventually you see potential to be able to kind of renegotiate this number, which is where the number could go up even for the first 5, and then 7 again would get restated accordingly only, or the rise that you've seen is essentially only because of the balance 7 asset that you are still to kind of strike a transaction for?
Sir, so let me clarify once again. The total value that we've given is for the 12 assets now that we're ascribing that 2,500 crores. Now, out of this, you rightly said, Cube assets is about 650 crores is what we are sort of saying to you, and that remains the same. Now, for the remaining 7 assets is where we will see a price increase, where the valuation increase because of us holding on to these assets till end of COD. That's what we're doing. So it's for the remaining 7 assets that price is coming around to about 2,000 crores or so.
Okay, and you only would put in efforts in terms of refinancing all the assets and then only sell it, right?
Yeah, that is all very simple. It's a very well-established market right now. You know, you will see many deals in the public domain because, see, ultimately, what are we? One, the risk that any investor or any bank lender takes is during construction. Now, with DBL's pedigree of constructing good quality assets, done everything on their own, within cost, within timeline, banks anyways find comfort in that. But after construction, so there is no more risk because the revenue is coming from the national government, NHAI annuities. Because of the reduced risk profile, there is a very good even debt capital market which is sort of looking at these kind of assets. Yielding assets. These are ultimately yield assets, fixed yield assets, which you will keep earning for the next 15 years because there is no toll risk, nothing. So hence, so the refinancing, whether we do it with the banking system or we do it in the debt capital markets, both of them have a very robust market for finished assets, especially with assets where the lending and everything is committed by the national government. So hence, we will be able to take advantage of that. Along with that, like I mentioned, the discounting that you do these assets at is also very fine in the established market. When you look at different InvITs and all those discountings, you're also very well aware that they'll be doing at a 9-10% kind of discounting, versus when you look at doing it at a high, when you sell it within for investors directly bilaterally. Hence, those valuation metrics is going to get us the higher thing. And investors, we're already in discussion with investors where they have showcased a lot of interest.
And you don't see any, you don't envisage any delay in your timelines because the GST issue for the annuity part is still to be kind of cleared or still is awaiting some clarity.
Sorry, what issue?
The GST part has already been cleared by the NHAI that it will be paid over and over annuity and you will have to pay GST. So it has
even on the interest part, sir, I think grant was very much clear, but how about the interest part?
Interest part is, they will pay in the GST on the interest as well as the annuity amount.
Okay. And just one last from my end, maybe you could help me with status of some of these large projects, like of, let's say, Badbud or Nikahi or our Rishikesh in Delhi, some of Delhi, Vadodara, some of these projects still are moving little. So when do you expect these to kind of start contributing in a meaningful way, even for that matter? The Indore Metro is moving a little slow for us.
So the projects are going good. Even Taral already we are on the around 15% progress, and Dam is also going good, and our Sahibganj bypass is also going good. कहीं भी slow नहीं है.
Sure. नहीं तो मैं order backlog में जब movement देखता हूँ तो ज़्यादा दिख नहीं रहा है. And Delhi Vadodara so is being flat.
इंदौर मेट्रो इज ओके. इंदौर मेट्रो में वहाँ पे कुछ क्लियरेंसेज की प्रॉब्लम थी तो वो लगभग 1 साल बंद था. बाकी जो अदर ईपीसी प्रोजेक्ट, इवन दिस ईयर वी आर कंप्लीटिंग 5 ईपीसी प्रोजेक्ट इन अनदर 1 month. एंड जो नए प्रोजेक्ट है हमारे, वन प्रोजेक्ट इज द बिगर प्रोजेक्ट इज डैम इज गोइंग गुड. एंड साहिबगंज मनिहारी वाला जो बड़ा ब्रिज का प्रोजेक्ट है वो भी ठीक चल रहा है. आरवीएनएल टनल इज गोइंग गुड. तो उसमें कोई अदर देन इंदौर ऑल प्रोजेक्ट इज गोइंग गुड.
Sure. And ये दिल्ली वडोदरा पे काम स्टार्ट हो गया है क्या?
Yes. Already we got the appointed date before 15 days and work is started.
Sure. Thank you and all the very best for future. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Shravan Shah from Daulat Capital Market Private Limited. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Sir, CapEx now, how much we have done and how much are we looking at for the full year? CapEx.
So this is, we have 77 crore. Out of this, 25 crore in the other office equipment, furniture and all these things. and the 50 crore on the plant and machinery, and we are not expecting much CapEx in the rest part of the year.
Okay, so we have already done 77 crore in the first quarter.
Yes. Some was the backlog from the Q4, so now that is why you are looking in the number is appearing high.
Okay, because previously we are looking at for the full year 100 odd crore, so I think this number should increase to 150, 200 odd crore for this year.
No, this number will not increase. It will not go beyond 100 crore.
Okay. Second thing, just wanted a clarification in terms of the working capital days, though it has increased from 82 to 100, but by end of the year, will it come back to again 80-85 days?
So, right now, looking at the material prices, inventory, it is very difficult to say, but it will come in the range of 90 to 95 days.
Because why I'm asking, because if that is not the case, how we will be able to reduce the date by 800 crore from this level, or from March 500 crore? So that's where I'm worried.
Yeah, no. So I will explain you. So from this number of the working capital in the absolute number, there will be absolute number. I'm saying again, there will be increase in around 150 to 200 crore, and in the inventory terms, number of days it will reduce. So that is why I think 90 to 95 days will be in the working capital days terms, and there will be increase in the absolute number by 150 crore.
Okay. Secondly, on the Pachwara mine, what's the status? Anything? Any update on the hearing or?
It's still pending in Supreme Court, Shravanji, and I think final hearing is scheduled to be sometime in September. So as that happens, unless there is any delay in dates from the Supreme Court from there, once that happens, only then we can give you that clarity. But we remain very confident that it should be in our favor.
Okay. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Mohit Kumar from DAM Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the opportunity once again. सर, अब जब ये इन्विट की जब आप बात की जब आप ये रोड एसेट की डाइवर्समेंट की बात कर रहे हैं और इम्प्रूवमेंट इन वैल्यूएशन की बात कर रहे हैं, तो आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि क्या आप सारे के सारे एसेट मोस्टली आप इन्विट या पेंशन फंड इनको बेचने की कोशिश करेंगे, क्योंकि बायलैटरल मार्केट में तो नंबर आपको कमी मिलेंगे? इज माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग राइट?
सर, बायलैटरल में कम आप अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन बेच रहे हो तो कर रहे हो. कई सारे इन्वेस्टर्स के खुद के भी इन्विट है, एंड देयर आर लॉट ऑफ इन्वेस्टर्स हु आर कमिंग विद देयर ओन इन्विट एज वेल. So there is a lot of sort of interest that is coming in the sector. There are a lot like deals हो रहे हैं, especially because they want sizable portfolio. Sizable portfolio is very limited company who can give you that. And हमारे पास we have about अगर हमारा पोर्टफोलियो की हम साइज की बात करें तो इट्स 10-11% ऑफ द हैम पोर्टफोलियो दैट NHAI has awarded. So it's a very big portfolio for any investor if who wants to build size. So there is that interest coming उन सारी चीज़ों में. So they are looking to pass on whatever benefits they can and do that. तो हमारे पास वेदर हम अपना खुद का करें या किसी और के साथ टाई अप करके करें, those are all things that we are thinking. But दोनों में ही मैक्सिमाइजेशन हो सकता है. And you're very right. अगर आप खुद की तरफ से अगर सोचते हो, so obviously in that InvIT, there is the most amount of, the maximum maximization can happen in your own sort of InvIT. But let's see. अभी right now, I will only come back and commit जब हम finally एक deal strike कर देंगे और वो लेके आ जाएंगे. But अभी हमारे पास सारे option खुले हैं. There is what I can tell you. Generally, there is a lot of interest, and the financial market is very small. I'm sure you guys will also get to know. There's a lot of interest from a bunch of investors who are looking at our assets very seriously.
सर दूसरी बात सर कि आजकल काफी लोग अपने हैम पोर्टफोलियो में जो रीफाइनेंसिंग कर रहे हैं वो बैंक रेट से लिंक कर दे रहे हैं, तो आप भी वो करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो क्या अपने पोर्टफोलियो में? और ये बैंक रेट से लिंक करने का काफी इजीली हो रहा है या मुश्किलें आती हैं इनमें?
सर पोस्ट कंस्ट्रक्शन बात कर रहे हैं या आप कब की बात कर रहे हैं?
पोस्ट कंस्ट्रक्शन की बात कर रहा हूँ.
उसमें या हमारा वो कई सारा चल रहा है, उसमें इस टाइप के कॉन्वर्सेशन चल रहे हैं. सो देयर इज ऑल ऑफ दैट आल्सो हैपनिंग.
उससे सर वैल्यूएशन इंप्रूव होगा. एम आई राइट सर इन सेइंग दैट?
हाँ सर, उससे भी इम्प्रूवमेंट आपको आएगा.
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू. Thank you. Best of luck, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So the next question from Mr. Parikshit Kandapal from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead, sir.
Hi, sir. Congratulations on a decent performance in a challenging quarter. Also, my first question है on the consideration which you have increased. So, is the deal already for the balance?
परीक्षित जी, आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं है सर.
एक मिनट. हाँ सर, तो मैं कह रहा था कि आपका जो आपने कंसिडरेशन बढ़ाया है का 12 एसेट, तो आप बोल रहे थे बैलेंस 7 एसेट यहाँ पे अभी तक डील हुई नहीं थी, तो उसका आपने लास्ट जो अपसाइड आ रही है वहाँ से आ रही है. So first thing I wanted to know whether you have already agreed with the investor or a platform for this valuation. That's why you have upsized it, and the deal maybe anyway पूरा पैसा तो COD plus 6 months के बाद ही आएगा. So by that time you want to take that money, use that time to reduce your so refinance the project and also get the first annuity. So जो भी land related issues हैं, so that there'll be better handle on the first annuity which you get. The investor will have a better handle there. So is it that the deal is already signed with this agreed valuation and just a matter of timing that ठीक है 6 महीना सब कर लेते हैं and then we will do that? That was my first question.
The deal is not signed, but investors have given us numbers, and मैं आपको इसके basis बता रहा हूँ कि there is already a very good sort of valuation that we are looking at. Whether we want to go ahead with certain investors or whether we want to set up something on our own is something that you still have to weigh, because we are evaluating all sorts of possibilities in what are the valuations, what are the timings of all those things. So once we also have more clarity, because this is a recent development that we were looking at, क्योंकि assets complete हो रहे थे, हमारे पास capital तक था. So now that's why we're looking at it. अभी तक क्या होता था, DBL का model था, we will sell the assets and then take that money and reinvest in other new assets. Now, when we were obviously selling before construction equipment, you are letting go of some of those margins and those areas where upsides जो आपको नहीं investor अपने तरफ रखता है. As soon as you have finished those things, you obviously will get a better valuation upside, and that's how this is coming from. So rest assured, जो भी हम आपको बता रहे हैं कर रहे हैं, that is I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that वो आपका bare minimum है हमारा, जहाँ पे हम लेकर आएंगे.
So what I understand, sir. So मुझे समझ में आ रहा है, what I can read from your commentary है, आपने already किसी के साथ एक platform बना लिया, and most probably these assets will go into these platforms wherein an investor will come. You will monetize the portfolio, and then that portfolio becomes your long-term portfolio for all your other assets to get into that kind of an invest structure. So this is what I can sense. So let's wait what you announce the structure. But really,
Parikshit ji, I obviously can't comment on anything right now, but I'm just saying give us time. Whenever there is a deal, whenever that happens, we will come back to you and tell you. But what I can assure you is very clearly, हमने इतना meaningful अगर increase आप लोग को बोला है, so we are saying it after having done, मतलब कि whatever is there. Ultimately, our agenda is whatever is in the interest of all shareholders. हमारे माइनॉरिटी हमें जो भी कंपनी के अंदर बेटर वैल्यूएशन आ रहा है, बेटर पैसा आ रहा है, टाइमिंग किसके हो जा रहा है, तो वी विल टेक एंड गो विद दैट, एंड दैट्स द ओनली कैटेगोरिकल एंड स्टेटमेंट दैट आई कैन डू. अल्टीमेटली हमारा एजेंडा है कि व्हाटएवर इज इन द मैक्सिमाइजेशन ऑफ शेयरहोल्डर इंटरेस्ट, हम उसके तरफ से देख रहे हैं. एंड व्हाइल लाइक आई सेड,
वैल्यूएशन आई है कब तक, मतलब इसकी फाइनलाइजेशन अभी ईयर एंड तक होगी आफ्टर सम जीएसटी क्लैरिफिकेशन कम. तो इज दैट
सर आपकी आवाज वापस क्लियर नहीं है. परीक्षित जी आपकी आवाज.
हाँ सर, मैं कह रहा था ये सीओडी के आने के PCOD आने के बाद ही अब ये डील के जो भी अनाउंसमेंट होगी, व्हाटएवर इज द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द डील, और सो दैट विल हैपन नाउ आफ्टर द PCOD कम्स इन, राइट?
तो हम जो भी सीओडी की बात बेचेंगे, सीओडी से पहले कोई भी एसेट नहीं बेचेंगे. ये आप सही है इस चीज को समझने में कि जो भी एसेट बिकेगा वो इट विल ओनली नाउ बी सोल्ड आफ्टर सीओडी.
तो ये ईयर एंड तक मतलब चला जाएगा. दिस विल हैपन. एनी अनाउंसमेंट फ्रॉम योर साइड विल नाउ हैपन मे बी टुवर्ड्स द ईयर एंड FY26.
सर सीओडी चल रही है इस साल के एंड तक में. हमारे ये जो 12 एसेट थे उसमें से 8 से 10 एसेट की सीओडी आ जाएगी, 8 से 9 एसेट की, है ना, और एक की तो आई चुकी है ऑलरेडी, जिसमें पहली एन्युटी भी आ गई है. सो इट्स ऑलरेडी हमारा पहला एन्युटी भी अभी आ चुका है जुलाई में. जुलाई में पहले एन्युटी आ चुकी है और एसेट था, हाँ, और उसका रीफाइनेंसिंग का भी काम दिख रहा है, चल रहा है. सो ऑल दोज थिंग्स आर ऑन. सो हमें भी इसका डाउट नहीं है कि ये एसेट जो भी होंगे वो सीओडी पे ही सेल होंगे, सीओडी के बाद ही सेल होंगे, और उस टाइम तक हमारा सारा जो फाइनेंशियल इंजीनियरिंग करनी है वो भी सब काम होके आएगा.
नहीं सर, मैं कह रहा हूँ सारे सातों सीडी हो जाएंगे, उसके बाद ही क्यूब का तो क्लियर है कि वो ठीक है, अभी अप्रूवल से इसमें होगा, बट आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट द बैलेंस 7 एसेट। जब सारे सातों एसेट के सीडी आने के बाद भी डील का कुछ क्लोजर होगा कि आप जैसे सिग्निफिकेंट मतलब 4 में से 5 भी कर लिए तो आप डील कर लेंगे?
हम पीसमिल शुरू कर दें, बट अभी अर्ली आपको बताना। हाँ तो हम पीसमिल शायद शुरू कर दें, पर हम आपको जब भी करेंगे उससे पहले बताएंगे। मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि Q3 के एंड तक में हम आपको एकदम पूरी क्लैरिटी दे देंगे।
Okay, great, sir. The second question was on just little bit worried on the inventory part. So inventory has been going up sustainably. Based on June last year से June तक almost 7 से 7.5 करोड़ की inventory value बढ़ गई है, और एग्जीक्यूशन इतना बढ़ा नहीं है। एग्जीक्यूशन का भी रन रेट मतलब 5-10% से ज़्यादा मेरे ख्याल से ग्रोथ इस साल आएगी। तो मेरे को ये चीज़ समझ में नहीं आ रही सर कि अभी जैसे रोड का भी कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन काफ़ी कम हो गया, बोनस सेक्टर कुछ इंसेंटिव नहीं है, कैपेक्स हम लोग कर नहीं रहे हैं, एग्रीगेट पहले हम लोग काफ़ी बना लेते थे बिकॉज अर्ली कंपटीशन बोनस और ये सब चक्कर में साइजेबल क्वांटिटी ऑफ इन्वेंट्री। तो अभी तो ऑर्डर बुक डाइवर्सिफाई हो गई है, रोड इज मच लोअर परसेंटेज ऑफ थिंग। तो जस्ट वांटेड योर सेंस कि डायरेक्शनली इन्वेंट्री अभी पीक आउट कहाँ पे होगी और कहाँ से कम होना स्टार्ट होगी, और मे बी बाय दिस ईयर एंड ये 30-100 करोड़ वाला नंबर ये धीरे धीरे मतलब कम होकर कितना आ सकता है, मतलब 2000, 1500, तो बिकॉज एक बहुत बड़ा पोर्शन आपका बैलेंस शीट पे लगा हुआ है, और आई एम नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई दैट नंबर शुड बी सो डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री पीयर्स नाउ। द बेस्ट केस में भी लोगों के 50 दिन होते हैं आउटर साइड में, बट अभी 100 दिन नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड। सो जस्ट वांटेड सम सेंस ऑन दैट, कैसे अनवाइंड होगी है।
Yeah. So Parikshit ji, answer to your question is that even though we have the diversified order book, but inventory profile doesn't change over all these projects like special bridge tunnels. The inventory profile will remain there. Cement required, steel required, aggregates required. Okay. This time inventory increase, what happened from Q4 to Q1 is on account of the increase in the moving average prices. So this is the peak of the inventory. And we were expecting actually the higher revenue in the Q1. That is why the revenue was on the higher. So this remains unutilized. That is the problem. And if you will remember, if you are comparing with our competitor, so you know that we are doing on everything. So the major portion of this inventory is actually the black metal and aggregate, which we are crushing ourselves. So that is why. So this is the higher number is on account of this business model which we have adopted. But of course, this inventory level will come down if the prices doesn't go further up.
सर एग्रीगेट और ये सब का प्राइस तो नहीं बढ़ेगा, वो तो आपको माइंस मिलता है तो आप ही माइंस करते हो। आई अंडरस्टैंड स्टील एंड सीमेंट एंड ऑल दैट, देयर इज नो हेजिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट एंड प्राइसेस गो अप, सो that is an issue. But large part of the inventory comes from black metal, so this is much under your control given the licenses you get from the government to mine it.
परीक्षित जी, एग्रीगेट्स का ऐसे नहीं होता है कि माइन से हमको निकालना पड़ता है। अब जब माइन से हम एक्सट्रैक्ट करते हैं एग्रीगेट को, तो हमको डीजल कंज्यूम करना पड़ेगा, टीपर्स लगेंगे, क्रशर लगेगा, एक्सकवेटर लगेंगे, उसमें डीजल कंज्यूम होगा। तो डीजल का प्राइजेस हैज गॉन अप फ्रॉम द 70 रुपीज टू, इफ यू विल टेक 70 रुपीज, तो इट हैज गॉन टू द 95 रुपीज। तो देयर इज an increase of around 40 to 50% in the diesel prices, which will further lead to the increase in the aggregate prices also. There is a further increase in the royalty prices by the government, mostly in the so this will increase over the price of the aggregate. So it is not that the mines prices has not increased, so it will not increase the inventory price of the aggregate. It will increase. So there is also increase in the aggregate prices also in the range of 7 to 10%.
मतलब यहाँ से नहीं बढ़ेगी ना, फिर अभी 3300 पीक हो गया, 3300 करोड़, इसके ऊपर अब जाना थोड़ा मुश्किल है। मतलब आप भी कह रहे थे ये ऑलमोस्ट टॉप पे ही है, तो यहाँ से जैसे जैसे एग्जीक्यूशन बढ़ेगा और कंजम्पशन होगा इन्वेंट्री का, तो धीरे धीरे कम होनी चाहिए यहाँ पे नंबर एंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ डेज ऑल्सो, राइट?
Yes. You are very much correct. This is the peak level of the inventory. In number of days in the Q2, it will remain at the same level because the Q2 revenue also it remains in the same range only. So in the Q3, Q4, in the number of days, it will come down. Of course, you have rightly pointed out.
Okay, ठीक है सर, thank you and all the best to you. Hope the execution recovers now. Thank you.
Thank you, Parikshit ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for this call. I would now like to hand over the floor to Mr. Jiten Rushi for closing comments. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, we thank you everyone for participating in the call. We thank the management for giving us the detailed insights for the quarter. Now I hand over to Rohan sir for his closing remarks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jitin, and thank you everyone for coming on the call today. And thank you for all your questions. We're more than happy to take any questions offline. If anybody has any more things, please reach out to our IR or to our team directly, and we're more than happy to answer any queries that you may have. Like I said, we've tried to give you as much guidance and clarity as we have at this point of time. If there is any improvement changes again that we have to do on the next quarter call, we'll definitely keep you updated more. Appreciate all of you taking time out on a Saturday and in the evening and asking all these questions. Thank you. May keep your families safe and yourself safe.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Axis Capital, this concludes your conference for today. Thank you for your participation and for using Doorsabha's conference call service. You may all disconnect your lines now. Thank you and have a good evening, everyone.